Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Bo's Slow English. Today, I'm interviewing my friend Ellie. I've called her Elizabeth, but I just found out that she likes to be called Ellie. And today we will get to know a little bit about her, and I would love to know more about her culture because she's fluent in Spanish, and I know I have a lot of Spanish-speaking subscribers on here. So before we get started, please click like and subscribe. And here's Ellie. Hello.
Hi. Hola. Thank you so much for
Hola.
having me on here.
De nada. So a little background about Ellie and me. We met, maybe almost 10 years ago at a skincare training. I think that's the easiest way to explain. So she was working for a company that was hosting a training for some products that I needed to learn more about for my previous job. And we stayed in touch through Instagram, and she volunteered herself today to do this interview so that she can help you to learn English. So Ellie, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think in Spanish or English?
Ooh, that depends who I'm speaking with. If I'm speaking with my family, I'm thinking in Spanish. If I'm speaking to friends and colleagues here in LA, I'm thinking in English most of the time. But it just depends. Also, like when I'm feeling creative, I default to Spanish a lot in my thinking when I'm in my creative space.
Why do you think that is?
My first language is Spanish, and
Okay.
I grew up listening to a lot of music in Spanish. And so I think I grew up just hearing Spanish at home. And then when I started school, I started learning English.
What age did you start learning English?
How old are you when you go into kindergarten? 4, 5. Yeah. But I didn't know much English before then.
That's the same for me, actually, because I moved to America from Korea when I was 1, and then I got enrolled in ESL at around kindergarten. So yeah, that's the same, but I definitely think in English. So
Yeah.
that's different. What is your ancestry, or what's your ethnicity?
Yeah, so both of my parents are from Mexico. My dad is from a state in Mexico called Michoacan, and my mom is from Mexico City.
Oh, how do you spell the city that your dad is from?
Oh my gosh. Michoacan.
Okay, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay.
So actually, speaking of to put someone on the spot, would you mind giving a really simple definition of what that means?
Michoacan.
No, to put someone on the spot.
Oh, yes. That is to put someone in a position where they have to think really quickly. And it's putting them on the spot. It's almost like you're putting a spotlight on them, and they have to just give you something back, right? Give you an answer back, or come up with something right away.
Exactly. Thank you for that explanation. And where is your family now? Are they in Los Angeles?
Yeah, so my mom's entire family is still in Mexico City. She is the only one that is here in LA. And my dad's family is split evenly. Half are in Michoacan and the other half are here. I also have some family that is abroad. So just family, friend. Actually, one relative is in Texas. So, and then some that are in Spain.
Do you visit your relatives abroad?
I haven't had the opportunity to do so yet, but I would absolutely love to.
Do you think that when they hear you speak Spanish in their ears, will they think that you are a native Spanish speaker, or do you have any bit of an American accent?
So I had the privilege of being sent to Mexico every summer since I was about 6 years old. And I was able to practice my Spanish quite a bit. So for the most part, no, you can't tell. But there are some words that I do get stuck on. So that's when I think you can definitely tell.
And I know that you transitioned your career. You were in skincare and now you're a social worker. Is that right?
That's correct. I was an esthetician. I still am an esthetician. 17 years that I've been licensed. I have had an amazing career. As I stepped into the medical side of things, I started to realize that there was a connection between mental health and beauty. And that is what led me to pursue an education in social work.
That resonates with me because I've been working in skincare for over a decade, and I was also a hairstylist previously for a decade. So there's definitely a mental component to the beauty world. Do you mind giving my subscribers a brief explanation on what it means to be a social worker?
Yeah. So being a social worker is looking at somebody and understanding the systems that they exist in, the society at large, and how it impacts the individual. So you're looking at what communities they exist in, their cultural background, their religious affiliations. You're not looking at somebody as just the individual. You're looking at all of the systems that they are a part of and how that contributes to whatever problem it is that they're facing, but you're also looking at these systems as the solution as well. A lot of people say we heal in community, and the community is what we're really exploring. So that is what a social worker is. We're looking at individuals in a social way. We are social creatures.
That sounds really interesting. I actually would love to study that
Yeah.
because I like to get to know people and their background clearly.
Yeah.
So excuse my ignorance because I actually don't know any social workers, I don't think. And the only social workers that I know a little about are in TV shows and movies, and they usually work with children.
Mm-hmm.
So do you work with adults and children?
Throughout my training, I have worked with adults and children. Yes. I think that society has presented social workers in a very pigeonholed way, like very narrow way. There is a lot that social workers do. It's not just working with kids, but there is a huge subset of social workers that do work with kids.
Your job must be really rewarding.
Is.
And do you work at a school, or where do you work?
For the past 3 years, I have been working to get my hours toward my license as a licensed clinical social worker. And I have worked at a partial hospitalization program / intensive outpatient program. And so this is at a center that focuses on eating disorders and body image, body dysmorphia. That is what I have been kind of really specializing in for the past 3 years.
Why are you specializing in that?
Because of my background in the beauty industry and the overlap with not just body dysmorphia, but also facial dysmorphia. And it's something that you and I have seen in our treatment rooms as estheticians multiple times, right? So that is what led me. It's again the intersection of mental health and beauty. It's very much connected to eating disorders. It's very much connected to body dysmorphia and facial dysmorphia.
We have some advanced and complex vocabulary words the past couple minutes. Let's talk about skin, since people want to know about skin.
Yes.
Do you have any suggestions for my subscribers who have dark spots on their skin?
So number one is always going to be SPF and sun protection. I think SPF is fantastic, but we also need to wear hats, visors, like things to really help block the sun.
For anyone who is not able to go to a clinic to get a chemical peel, definitely, just like Ellie said, sunscreen is your number one protection.
Yes.
And then you can reverse some of the sun damage or prevent it from getting worse by doing, not to get too technical, but vitamin C is a good option. Do you have any other suggestions? Maybe something they could pick up at the drugstore?
Yes, azelaic acid is fantastic as well. Kojic acid, I think, is now readily available. There are these really great kojic acid sheet masks that are from Korea. They're incredible.
Do you believe in eye cream?
That's a great question. I mean, you can always bring up the moisturizer up to the eyes, but yes, there are some eye creams that I actually really like.
Because we're talking about acids, something I would like to emphasize, which means to stress on something, is do not overdo the acids. Maybe start with, would you say, 1 time a week to start at night?
That's more than enough. And also don't overdo retinol.
What would you suggest for someone who gets breakouts or pimples?
That's another one where I think a lot of people tend to use really abrasive, harsh product on the skin. And I also believe that it's important to go slow. I believe that using a low-grade salicylic acid is fantastic. Being consistent at home. I know that there are those cool pimple patches that some people like to use. I believe in using those sparingly because you do want your skin to be able to breathe.
Would you recommend for someone to pop their own pimple?
No. I know for some people it's really hard. We start getting close to the mirror and I don't recommend it. That can lead to scars on the skin. So I would recommend going to someone.
Now I have some language learning type questions. I know you learned English at a very young age, so you may not remember now, but if you could think of any techniques with excelling in the English language, is there anything that you could suggest for my subscribers?
Listening to music. I truly think that's a great strategy. It's fun. Listening to music, translating the lyrics, watching movies in English is also beneficial. Conversations. I know it can be scary to try and speak in a new language, but that is really how we learn best, is to practice and speak with someone who is patient and who will help guide you. If you mispronounce a word and they're helping, maybe leaning into that discomfort a little bit, I think is a great strategy.
And so I do live streams every Sunday, and it feels like every Sunday I get a comment. But what if I'm too scared or too nervous to speak English because of my accent or because my grammar isn't good? I usually say, who cares? But I mean it in a nice way, because how else will you learn? You, just like Ellie said, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And once you get over that hump, then that's when you start to learn. Is there any other piece of advice that you could give my subscribers?
Reading poetry. Poetry is small, like it's typically not very long and it's small phrases. So reading that is a great way to also start picking up the language and understanding some of the nuances in the language.
Can you teach me a little Spanish right now?
So en donde vives is where do you live?
Gracias.
Yo vivo en Los Ángeles. I live in Los Angeles.
A mí también.
¿Tú también? Muy bien.
Yo vivo en Los Ángeles.
Yeah.
Can you give us a farewell message in Spanish for my
Yes.
Spanish speakers?
Yes. Muchas gracias por la entrevista y por su tiempo y escucharme. Estoy muy agradecida. Que tengan mucha suerte aprendiendo inglés.
Yo pienso que yo comprendo. I think I understand. You said, thank you for maybe watching the interview and your time, and I'm really grateful for you, and I wish you all the best.
I wish you all the best learning English. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, Ellie, I so appreciate your time. It's really great to have you, and we covered a lot of different topics that I think are important on so many different levels. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to watch my other interview videos and like, subscribe, comment, share, and I will see you next time. Bye.